that the high score of the week would go to no other than our buddy Carlos over Joel, 174 to 104. I mean, with how low all the other scores were, it really felt like Carlos got only the people that got high scores and left the scraps for the rest of us. He outscored in his high five. He outscored 137 to 60 in that high five, that quarterback, two running back, two wide receiver. We got four flex. He got outscored by Joel by a little bit, 44 to 37. And then his bench even outscored Joel by 20. So that 137 to 60 starting, I mean, difference here's got to be not only that high five, but Tyreek. Good God, man.
Yeah, we're talking literally about the best wide receiver in the NFL right now. He's been for a while, no question. You know, who's number one, who's number two? Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. I mean, this guy's definitely in the conversation. 11 receptions, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns. And talk about an hand-delivered an ass whooping to the Chargers and giving Miami their first victory in 2023.
And out of those three wide receivers that you just said, his was the only one that won. He dragged that team to victory on his little fast back. I mean, and you know, I got to ask, you know, Kyle said he is the best wide receiver ever. Now, I feel like that's a little bit of a stretch. We got some, you know, some big history there, but do you think he has something to say about that, where his place is in history with just how dominant he can really be to take over a game?
I think he definitely has. I think he's in the conversation for sure. I know a lot of us history buffs wouldn't put him up there
Right.
above, you know, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, and we have all the numbers to back this
T.O.
information up. But in this era, he's definitely one of the most dominant wide receivers we've seen at least in the past 10 years, and dominant at this level and at his age. The speed is something unreal to be able to maintain that kind of excellence and production after so many years being in the league. Usually, these shorter, fast guys, they don't last too long. They don't have long NFL careers. Tyreek has been an exception for sure.
Absolutely, man. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I can't wait to see what his end result numbers are. If he cracks that 2,000-yard mark, if he might be the first wide receiver to take home the MVP trophy. It's a steep hill to climb. Most of the time, quarterbacks get it, but hey, he's got a shot. So let's get into our next segment here. This one we are going to call Unfiltered or Photoshopped. Is it real or fake? It's basically what we're trying to answer about a few key games about teams that we care about, right? Teams that the guys in the league care about. Yes, we'll even talk about the Saints, Jeff, so hold your horses. But first up, we got to start on the Bucs. Baker Mayfield took the Bucs to 20-17 win in Minnesota. And I got to ask you, Goose, is this unfiltered or is it photoshopped?
It's hard to tell. It's week one. We've seen Baker Mayfield have games where he can just maintain the team and kind of just got them through the win. This seemed like one of those for sure. He had moments where he looked like the old Baker Mayfield, and then he had moments where he shined, like when he threw that long touchdown pass to Mike Evans. He was still missing guys, but I'm going to say for the moment,
That first half.
yeah, for the moment, I'd say it's photoshopped. Photoshopped.
Yeah, I'd have to err on that side too. If he proves us wrong, that's fine, but he's had great games before and goes through the cycle of sucking and then getting to be the underdog and, you know, willing himself back to then having a good game, you know, a few weeks from now. So we'll have to see how he looks versus the Bears in week 2. Next up, your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey,
Came up.
finally, something fun to talk about.
Yeah, right. 31-21 versus the Colts, a divisional game. Had that wacky fumble turn into a touchdown. Otherwise, it would have been a lot bigger of a deficit, 31-14 maybe. Colts obviously had a starting a rookie, but the Jags came out and did what they needed to do. So, are the Jags unfiltered or are they Photoshop, Goose?
Well, if this game happened about 2 years ago, even last year, you can say it's Photoshop. But
Yeah.
the Jags are on a lot of people's list, and I'm gonna say this is unfiltered. The end result, it was pleasing. The game was sloppy, just like a lot of games in Week 1 were. There's a lot of things they had to clean up. Overall, this is kind of what you expected, especially with the addition of Calvin Ridley. You expected this offense to take another step into the right direction. as far as keeping drives alive and keeping that offense on the field. So you saw what you wanted. The Colts, we don't know if they're one of the worst teams or they're just one of the average teams. So it's hard to tell. You know, but overall, we'll take it, man. It's week one. It wasn't pretty, but they got it done.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. They have a chance to be special in the AFC, given that it's a little bit less stacked right now. But nonetheless, 10-point win, divisional opponent, can't argue with that, and they've had bad luck with the Colts in the past. They take on Kansas City in week 2. That'll be a big litmus test, buddy.
I agree, and I think they just signed Chris Jones, so that game's gonna be
full strength versus full strength. Let's see what happens, right?
Yeah, lots of.
That could be a playoff preview. Yeah, I mean, it already happened last year in the playoffs, so
yeah,
the preview here.
You're right.
Yeah. All right, next up, let's get to Jeff's Saints taking a 1-point win, 16-15 over the Titans. Goose, I know what I want to say here, but I got to ask you first. Are the Saints unfiltered or are they Photoshop, buddy?
That's easy. I don't have to think about it. I have to look. That's Photoshop, man.
Absolutely. I mean, a 1-point win over a team that has an absolutely bogus offensive line. Their quarterback looked like he aged about 7 or 8 years, looking like Patch Adams out there. I mean, Derrick Henry couldn't do anything. I mean, they have all the firepower out there on offense. I mean, I get maybe, getting Derek Carr used to some things, but they got Olave, Michael Thomas, Rashid Shaheed had some catches, but 16 points at home versus the Titans. Titans are well coached, don't get me wrong, but 16 points, that was, if I was Jeff, I'd be not feeling too happy about that win, to be honest. They play the Panthers next week on Monday Night Football. I don't even know if I want to see that game.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. I mean, the division's trying to take shape. I think the Falcons got a little bit better. The Saints were looking to be the favorite to take the division, but we'll see. Derek Carr didn't look bad. He didn't look great. He didn't look bad. I think that's Derek Carr. That's his MO.
That's par for the course. That's Carr for the course.
Right? But they got this done with Jamal Williams toting the rock, averaging 2.5 yards per carry. So that's just kind of what he's done. But Derek Carr looked to be, starting to get in sync with those young receivers, especially that Rashid Shaheed, man. Woo! That dude's looking pretty good this year.
Yeah, hey, I mean, it's not like it takes much, but he already looks better than Michael Thomas, right?
Yeah, we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. Next up, this had to be the game of the week to watch if it wasn't for, Monday night maybe, but still a lot more fun on offensive fireworks. Dolphins and Chargers. Alex was having a day, loving the end of this game, 36-34. Man, this one was fun to watch. Back and forth. I think there were 7 lead changes. They just couldn't stop each other. So, Dolphins, unfiltered, or are they photoshopped?
The Dolphins, I think as long as everybody's healthy, you're going to say unfiltered. They're definitely one of the most fun teams to watch in the NFL. So, unfiltered. What a game. What a game for the ages. Kind of what we expected. I believe this is what we expect out of the Thursday night game. When the Chiefs played the Rams, when Goff was still playing, over there, and that they scored. I think it was in Mexico that game or wherever it was. But
yeah,
that was amazing. So very similar back and forth.
Yeah, that was a fun one for sure. It had I think the second highest over under plan for the week, and everybody was worried it might go the way of the Lions and Chiefs, but it delivered. That was a hell of a game to watch. Dolphins play the Patriots on Sunday Night Football. That'll be fun. Another divisional game to come up in the second week. But yeah, I got to agree. I think they're unfiltered. I think they have a real chance to do and work some magic here in the AFC, but they got to stay healthy. Tua is going to be everything for that team, and they definitely got to shore up some of that run defense. Next up, we already talked about it a little bit, but Manny's Eagles, let's just talk about just your thoughts on that. Do you think they're unfiltered, or are they photoshopped after their squeak-by win over the Pats, where they jumped out to that 17-0 lead and then got outscored in the second half?
Yeah, you're right. The Eagles are unfiltered. They are the favorite to not only reach the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl, according to a lot of sports books. So there's no secret there. What was a little surprising, like we mentioned, is how tough the Patriots played them. The Patriots, they're a well-coached team. We've known this for many years. I don't think they were expecting this game to be that close, and they almost lost it there in the fourth quarter when Jalen Hurts fumbled that ball.
Yeah, that was close. I thought the Pats played pretty good. Maybe they were a little inspired by Brady being in the building. I liked the Bill O'Brien offense, putting Mac Jones in some more favorable positions to get some high percentage throws, but we kind of knew what the Pats were going to be. I do think the Eagles are unfiltered. I do like them. I do worry that just like last year, they're having some second half struggles. I think that might come back to bite them if they don't shore that up, but I still think they're easily one of the best teams in the NFC for sure. And last but not least, we got the Jets and the Bills. I'd like to have a moment of silence for A-Rod. Okay, that's enough. But 22-16, he got 4 plays in and ruptured his Achilles. That just sucks. I mean, honestly, you don't even have to be a Jets fan, but that was going to be a fun storyline for the year. Garrett Wilson would have been better. That whole offense would have been better. That defense, it would have been fun to see what havoc they could have wrecked in the AFC. But let's get past that. Jets and the Bills. Hector's Bills lost this one, which we'll get to that unfiltered part in a minute. This was just a fun game, though. It was, a low-scoring one, but still a lot of fun to watch. But, looking at the Bills taking the loss, one of the few teams of ours that actually lost, do you think they're unfiltered or photoshopped? Are they real or fake this year? Do you think this is a hiccup, or could this be an indication of things to come?
The Bills, it's kind of hard. It's hard to tell. They're so up and down. They can be such an explosive team, and they tend to drop the ball more often than not in big games. So I think this is unfiltered according to what we've seen in the past. But we'll see. They have definitely a strong team. They haven't been able to get over that hump, and the way Josh Allen tends to play very erratic at times. If you do that in the playoffs, you will lose. So, very good team. Can they get over the hump? Not as of week 1. I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm going photoshopped. I like the Bills. I think they'll have a good record. I think they'll make the playoffs. I think they'll make some noise. They got too much talent not to. What bothers me is the same thing like I joked about, but I was serious about Jameis. What you put on the field after 4 or 5 years is who you are. And unfortunately, Josh Allen has been putting more turnovers on the board, and it has not gotten better. And I fear that might be his MO, and he's got to shore that up. Sometimes, it's fine to be the superhero sometimes, but sometimes you just got to, check it down. You don't need to be chucking it 60 yards downfield. So, they look like they did the past couple of years, which did not get them in the Super Bowl, and I don't see much of a difference to where it's going to make that stark of a difference in the AFC, honestly. That's for sure. So, closing thoughts. Week 1 is in the books. I am so happy to have football back. I know you are too. We're in the full swing of things. After looking at a week, starting Thursday, ending Monday, it felt like we had 2 weeks squeezed into one. What are your thoughts? What did you take away from the first week?
I saw a lot of rustiness. I saw a lot of teams. It looked like I felt like I was watching the WWF. I saw the defenses have quite been an advantage, which usually it's the norm. Early in the year, defenses have the advantage, and then as injuries and things, the team starts to figure things out. Offenses get a lot better, and you start seeing more points. But it was a little alarming to see a lot of low scores. I think it was like 13 touchdowns in the first games, the 1 o'clock games. So I think it was a little bit low. But rustiness, I think things will get better. There will be more points to be scored. So don't panic on the waiver wire tonight. Send your trade offers to me if you are panicking, and I'll take care of you.
Yep. Good old Goose wanting to get his trade offers going after week 1, right? Yeah, I mean, I hear you, man. It was definitely some sloppy games. We had some absolute awesome games. They weren't very many. Honestly, I feel like it was just it's kind of a saddening week 1 to me. Like, I'm so glad football's back, but seeing the injuries to JK and to A-Rod, Like, I really hate seeing injuries, even to the teams that I hate or that I don't care about. Like, I want to see teams at their peak battling other teams at their peak. It's good for fantasy. It's good for real football. It's just good for entertainment. It really helps to sort out the best of the best from the worst of the worst. So hopefully we will not have any more of that. Let's get that injury bug and send it to another sport, maybe to baseball. They can hit each other in the nuts instead of everybody in football having to deal with these ruptured Achilles and concussions and all this stuff. But hey, that's football, right? Injuries are going to happen. But as we close out the show, thank you, Goose. I want to thank Manny for guest appearing for us and rubbing it some more in my face. I'll be okay. I only cry once the lights go out so nobody can see it. But week 2 is around the corner. Get your waiver priorities in. Start thinking about trades and start getting those lineups set. We are 2 days away from football.